that he carries, it goes past religion, right? It's almost cultural as well. If you want to draw a comparison between a Western equivalent, I guess you could say the Pope, something like that, okay? Vaguely. But the point I'm trying to impress upon you is that killing Sayyid Ali Khamenei is so extraordinary as a crime. It's really worse than if you had killed the president. Like, killing the president wouldn't have been this bad, okay? Because presidents in Iran are elected and changed every couple of years. Yes, it's actually democratic. I know the mainstream media told you otherwise, but it is actually a democracy in many ways, more democratic than our countries sometimes. So you know, the supreme leader, Sayyid Ali Khamenei, is different than that, okay? And he took on, of course, after after Khomeini led the revolution in 1979, he was basically a successor, right? Not just in terms of the religious aspect, but also carrying the revolution forward, making sure that Iran stays that course. And it's under his leadership that Iran developed all of these things that they're bitching about today in the West. The ballistic missile program, you know, the nuclear program, which is civilian. Again, that I need to repeat every single time because apparently it's not clear. And you know, the network of the axis of resistance and supporting the Palestinians, because, you know, Khomeini was only there for about 10 years, right? And for the most part of the life of the Islamic Republic of Iran, it's been Khamenei, not Khomeini. So, you know, it's that is the significance. Do you understand? So he plays this role. He has this aura of a revolutionary. And it's not just me saying that. You just go around the world. You go to Cuba, you go to South Africa, people from entirely, you know, different corners of the planet have this same idea and respect of him and for him as a revolutionary leader. Do you understand? I'm talking not just about Khomeini, I'm talking about Khamenei as well, because of all these policies and these changes and implementations that the Islamic Republic made under his rule. It's very important to understand this. So when you're killing someone like that, it's an extraordinary crime. Okay? That's the point I'm trying to get across. It's an extraordinary crime. And it's not that, you know, he himself considers his life to be worth more than others. As a matter of fact, if you look at his abode, like where he lived, the guy's extremely humble. I'm not exaggerating. You know, the guy lived like more simplistic than this studio right here behind me. I'm not joking. I don't have the photos with me right now, but I was looking at him just earlier. He was like genuinely a man of the cloth, as we would say in English. You know, a man of faith, right? A genuine man of faith. And so after his martyrdom was announced, it's not just in Iran that people started going crazy. Literally, in India, in Pakistan, in Kashmir, in Iraq, in Lebanon, the whole bloody region, people are out in the streets. I've got the footage here for you. You can see they started storming. People in Karachi started storming the U.S. consulate in protest at the murder of Khamenei. That is how insane. And then they want to tell you on mainstream media that the guy's not popular. How can he be so unpopular that people in other countries are upset about his death? That's beyond popular, mate. I mean, so all this happened today. This is this morning, right? Outside the US consulate in Karachi, in Pakistan. And it got very bad, huh? The Americans killed like, I think 22 is the death toll, right? Yeah, they really did storm the place. I mean, it's not... So these are the funerals. These are the funerals that just took place right now, this evening, a few hours ago, of the people who stormed the embassy, the consulate this morning. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, the Americans shot dead about 22 protesters. Did you even hear about this in the news? Did you even hear about this in mainstream media? They won't tell you a thing, right? They won't tell you a thing. And you can see in Iraq, people also just storming the green zone. So the green zone in Baghdad is it's not just the US Embassy, as the name implies, it's a zone. It includes the US Embassy, but it's a much larger complex than that. It's absolutely enormous. And regardless, the point is it's a diplomatic premises, right? Vaguely. The Americans like to color outside the lines. The point is the same, that people in another country were so upset at the assassination of a revolutionary religious man of faith like Khamenei that they stormed the American diplomatic premises in their own country. Okay, do you understand how significant that is? I mean, I don't know about you, but I can't think of anyone who has that same kind of stature or respect in other countries that would command that kind of response if they were to be assassinated. It's quite rare. It really is that rare. You'd be lucky to have your own people get that upset. Never mind people in your country and in another country, and then other countries plural. It's, so it's very important to point this out because there's so much disinformation and lies about Iran. It's just the whole picture from the cultural aspect to the nuclear program is warped and skewed. So I do want to take the time to dispel it and correct what mainstream media or colleges and academia would have you believe. So this is from the Green Zone this morning. These are not insignificant crowds. Can you imagine anyone giving a shit like that for Donald Trump? Fat chance, honestly. I mean, really. Good luck, really. He'll be lucky to be put on a coin. I mean, it's just like tons and tons and tons of videos like this. And then not just in Baghdad in the Green Zone, but all over the place. Here. All over Iraq, and then also in here in India. Okay, also footage from there. And then the footage itself from Iran is quite plentiful as well. No US president would be able to draw crowds like this if they were assassinated at all. Really, it's not happening. Okay. And then they want to convince you, if you go on BBC and you start reading the articles, every single one of them, BBC, CNN, like the first thing they will tell you is that, oh yeah, people responded to the news with cheers, right? And then they'll add at the end of the sentence that, yeah, with a few people mourning, when it's really the other way around. Like, show me these videos of people cheering. Where are they? I'm bringing collated evidence of my claims, right? I present everything to you, right? It's right there. It's right here. We're going through every single clip, right? I have the location, the date, all of it. Where are your claims? You're saying people were cheering. Show me that they were cheering. Do you even have proof of this? That is Kashmir, but I don't want to show you Kashmir yet. I'm going to stay with Iran. Right, they're chanting Magbar Israel. You can guess what that means. And then here, these clips are specifically in Tehran, okay? These are all from today. All of these clips. people are literally crying in the streets at this news. Yeah. You get the idea. You get the idea. This is the clip that I want to show you from Kashmir, this one. So again, I put it to you, show me any other leader that actually commands this kind of response in their own country, plus in multiple other countries. Show me. It's difficult to find them, right? So there was also a good clip from Galloway that I wanted to show you. I have queued somewhere over here. Yeah. The thing is now that people are asking if the fatwa against nuclear weapons is going to be revised, or if it expires now. No, it doesn't expire. Okay, so again, a fatwa is a religious decree. Okay, because the Iranians actually have a religious decree against nuclear weapons. Yes, and again, I will come back to the nuclear issue in when we finish this segment. But no, it doesn't just expire with the cleric or because the supreme leader died. That's not how it works. And the thing is that you look at Sayyid Ali Khamenei, you look at Nasrallah, you look at Sinwar, okay? All of these guys, they were killed on the battlefield, on the front. Quite literally. I mean, they're being assassinated. They kind of are the front, right? So Nasrallah was killed in Dahieh, in Beirut, right? In southern Beirut. And Sayyid Ali was killed in Tehran, and Sinwar was killed in Gaza. He was literally fighting, like physically, literally in battle. So my point here is that you look at these leaders in the resistance who are all being killed on the front in battle, and then you compare that with Netanyahu, who's reportedly in Germany now, right? It could also be disinformation, to smoke and mirrors, counterintelligence, to just kind of fool people about his whereabouts, which would make sense. But regardless, you won't see the guy on the front lines at all. Nasrallah's sons, for example, are also on the front right now. Netanyahu's son is in Miami. We're talking about a different caliber of people. We just are. In every culture, really, in the overwhelming majority of human civilization throughout history, people respect leaders that literally lead in battle. They don't respect cowards that run away or who lead from the rear. This is something that has persisted throughout time, and it's a principle, it's an idea, it's a conviction that you will find in almost every single culture, right? The president, the king, the leader, whatever, who actually risks their life in battle against the enemy is worth following, because they're willing to get they've got skin in the game, and they're willing to get their hands dirty. Coward is a coward. So we're talking about a different caliber of man. It's just an objective fact. It's not my opinion. It's a fact. Like these locations where they were when they died, these are all facts. And the fact that most humans respect leaders that actually are willing to die, this is also a fact. And there's a question now of whether Sayyid Ali Khamenei wanted to die, in the sense not that he literally wanted to be dead and cease to exist, but that he understood that the Israelis are going to go after him, and he wanted to use or maximize, or perhaps ensure that Iranians would be galvanized by his death, because he's going to be killed anyway, right? So he might as well stay at home in the comfort of his home instead of going somewhere else, right? Because people are asking this question of why was he in his house? Why was he in his home? Why wasn't he hiding in a bunker? Why wasn't he this and that? Well, he's not an Israeli, first of all. That's why Israelis like to hide in bunkers, as do Nazis. It's not really a thing in Middle Eastern culture, except for Israelis. So that's the answer. Now, Yeah, I mean, I just got tons and tons of videos of people in Iran crying, weeping at this news. And you want to come here and tell me that, oh yeah, everyone is cheering. I mean, this is just a fucking lie. It's a goddamn lie. They have no proof of this. I have yet to see one single video of someone in Iran actually cheering at this news. Just one. Where is it? And I'm sorry, but you know, Pahlavi monarchists in Los Angeles don't fucking count, do they? So I'm not here to convince myself. I know the truth, but I'm here to convince you and make my case. And here, this tweet also kind of encapsulates the point that I'm trying to impress upon you. So it says here, it took 30 tomahawks to martyr Khamenei. It took multiple bunker busters to martyr Sayyid Nasrallah. It took multiple squads, tanks, and an airstrike to martyr Sinwar. Do you see how much they fear revolutionaries, that they need all of that to kill only one man? Yes, it's an excellent point. And you also need to understand something, that being killed in battle is it's not the end. It's the end for Israelis. Okay? It's the end for like, you know, us in the West, right? I think that's how George Galloway framed it. And I love the clip that he did, because it's exactly what I was going to tell you. And he knows, he's like one of those people that actually understands the region, right? Very, very well. And he nails it. And so, you know, as the slogan goes, victory or martyrdom, it's like, it means win-win. Okay? This is the caliber of people that the Israelis have chosen to pick a fight with. They're not built to fight these people. Israelis are Westerners. They're Europeans. They've come from Europe. They have European thinking and mentality. They claim to be people of God, but I mean, you know, do they strike you as particularly religious? Do religious people murder, you know, every time they cough and breathe? Yeah, they don't have any belief in the afterlife. You know, they will tell you to your face that, oh yeah, God gave us the land, but actually I don't believe in God. What the fuck? So the religious conviction isn't there. These are not people of faith. They're not people of, you know, great mental fortitude. The whole mindset is different. So if you're dealing with Iranians and you're dealing with a Shia cleric of the caliber of Sayyid Ali Khamenei, whose mentality is that I am going to be victorious either by defeating you or by being martyred and going to heaven because I have done good in my life by fighting evil. How can you defeat someone like that? Like their whole mentality is just win-win. You can't defeat them, right? Because their understanding of life is not that, oh, when my body dies and shuts down, I'm done. They have a belief in the afterlife, right? Like the story continues. That's their mindset, their mentality, their thinking. Whereas with Israelis, it's like, oh shit, I want to save my behind. I'm going to run in that bunker. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the afterlife. Do you understand? So the Israelis were like, you know, howl like a bunch of hyenas, like they've achieved some great goal, but they don't understand that no one in this circle, in this culture, sees what happened today to in the last 36 hours to Sayyid Ali Khamenei as a defeat. On the contrary, they're going to use that as fuel to just come after you harder, and it's a win-win for them too. They also have the same mentality. So I'm either going to achieve physical, literal victory against you in battle and liberate Palestine and you know, get you far away from my borders and out of my country, or I will be martyred, and my family and my friends and my neighbors and my countrymen will continue the fight, and I'll go to heaven. So it's a win-win. Okay, I'm trying to explain this to you, not because it's my belief necessarily, but because I understand the region and the culture, and you know, these people that are so desperate to fight Iran, they don't. And knowing your enemy is one of the most fundamental rules of war, and they don't know shit. They don't know anything about who they're dealing with. They just don't grasp that you're never going to defeat these people. Not to mention the fact that, I mean, their culture is 5,000 years old. I mean, the nerve, honestly, of taking on them, like the arrogance of thinking that you can like extinguish them somehow is ridiculous, right? You know, the United States is not even 300 years old. It's not even a real country. So you understand, like the mismatch here is absolutely enormous. You will have another another Sayyid Ali Khamenei, in the sense that he will have a successor. They're going to decide that it's a three-body council, etc. And the path is just going to continue. Where is the proof? Look at the last couple of hours. The guy's been dead for over 24 hours, and you're still getting pounded. As a matter of fact, Israel has been pounded in the last 24 hours, and America have been pounded in the last 24 hours harder than ever in history after Khamenei has been killed. So what the fuck did you accomplish, you bunch of bozos? You didn't. You fucked yourselves. That's all you've done. And you're very likely going to get a successor who is, again, I despise this stupid term, but quote unquote hardline even more than Khamenei or Khomeini were. Okay. So this is the point I was trying to explain. Right? And we'll come back to the mentality, of martyrdom and compassion and all this stuff when I talk about the nuclear weapons in a second, because it's also relevant there. It's like, why didn't Iran develop the nuclear weapon? Why? Well, I'll explain that then. But just the point I'm trying to press upon you is that killing Khamenei is not a victory, and that's evidenced by the fact that Iranian drones and missiles, as we speak, are raining down on Israel and US bases like clockwork. It's non-stop, and it's getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and there's nothing they can do to stop them.